Man refuses to accept his wife's death. He builds a time machine to go back in time and changes nothing. So let's do it. Act 1. The camera pans across a messy apartment filled with blueprints, loose wires, and a half-finished time machine. Rain pours down the window. Inside sits Liam, a man in his 40s who looks like he hasn't slept in days. His eyes are bloodshot, and his clothes are rumpled. He runs a hand through his messy hair and leans back in his chair. It's clear that whatever he's doing, it isn't working. Across the room, a framed photograph of a beautiful woman smiles back at him. Next to it, a single red rose sits in a vase. Liam reaches out and traces the photo with his finger. It's a picture of Liam and his wife Elena. Behind them, the Eiffel Tower gleams in the sunshine. He presses play on an old answering machine and a warm feminine voice fills the room. "I'm sorry if I'm calling it a bad time. Just wanted to hear your voice. Miss you call me back, please." As the message ends, tears stream down Liam's face. It's been exactly 1 year since he lost his wife. Elena died in a car crash and he blames himself. He was supposed to meet her that day, but he was too busy in the lab. Her calls went straight to voicemail. On a cluttered desk next to the phone, a single tear rolls down Liam's face. "I'm sorry," he whispers. Then he turns to the photo and says, "I'm going to fix this." Through flashbacks and a voiceover, we learn about Liam and Elena's relationship. They were high school sweethearts and now successful engineers who shared a passion for science and each other. But Liam worked too much. One day, Elena's alarm didn't go off, and she had to leave early for an important meeting, so she called Liam. He didn't answer. She tried again, but he was too absorbed in his work to notice. Elena left a message, but he didn't hear it. He was focused on finishing a project. All he knew was that it had to be done today. Elena's calls went to voicemail. He didn't pick up the receiver until it was too late. Now, alone in the present day, Liam turns back to his work. He has spent every waking moment since Elena's death searching for a way to bring her back. Today, he thinks he's close. Something in his prototype time machine should be ready soon. He just needs to finish rewiring these coils, and then test the temporal displacement drive. And then it's done. He flips a switch, and the machine whirs to life. A blue light envelops him, and when it fades, Liam finds himself outside his home, except it's only a few hours earlier. In his hand, a digital watch shows the exact date and time. He's traveled back 1 year to the day before Elena died. He quickly changes into dry clothes and heads out the door. First things first, he leaves notes everywhere for Elena, on the fridge, under her pillow, inside her purse. But will she listen? Next, he tries sending her a text message from a payphone. He uses a different number so she won't recognize it, but he warns her to stay off the roads and stay indoors. When that fails, he walks to her car and sabotages the brakes. When Elena gets into her car later, she finds the note and throws it away. She has a long day and decides to take the bus instead of driving. Unfortunately, while crossing the street, she slips on some ice and hits her head. She's taken to the hospital where she later dies. At the scene of the accident, Liam is horrified. He could have stopped this. She was gonna die anyway, but he could have saved her. Elena's life hangs in the balance. Time finds a way, he says to himself. Act 3. In the following weeks, Liam repeats the process over and over again, each time hoping to rewrite Elena's fate and prevent her death. With each attempt, he creates new ripple effects, moving her death further away, but it always catches up with him. Once he saves her from a freak car accident, only for her to die later from a hospital error. Another time he thwarts a random act of violence, but she falls victim to another crime soon after. With each failed attempt, Liam loses more hope and descends further into madness. He starts jumping back in time at shorter intervals, frantically trying to control every variable. But the more he interferes, the worse things become. Elena dies in a different way every time, but always on the same day. By this point, his apartment is a disaster. Papers cover the floor, and equipment spills out of cabinets. Liam hasn't showered in days, and he's lost a lot of weight. He obsessively watches the news for reports of accidents, tragedies, anything that might befall Elena. His reality is beginning to fracture. He can no longer tell the difference between the past and the present. His mind is stuck in a loop. In a fit of desperation, he attempts one last time, jump, but it fails. Static fills the air, and sparks fly. He's drained all the energy from his machine. Disheartened and defeated, Liam collapses onto the floor. Maybe it's impossible to change fate. Maybe some things just aren't meant to be. But just as he's about to give up, he finds a video recording he made earlier. He'd intended to send it to Elena, but it never got finished. In it, he tells her how much he loves her and how grateful he is to have her in his life. But what Elena says next shocks him. "You never needed to save me," she says. "You just needed to be there." A flashback plays. The night Elena died, she called Liam 5 times. Each time he was too busy to answer. Act 4. It suddenly clicks. Death is inevitable. He can't stop it. But that doesn't mean he has to spend his whole life running from it. He spent a year trying to save Elena, but maybe it's time to focus on living. For the first time in a while, Liam steps away from the machine. He takes a hot shower, shaves, and puts on a clean set of clothes. Then he checks the weather and Elena's schedule. Tomorrow she's going to take the bus home from work, so he'll have all day. He jumps in the time machine one last time, but this time he doesn't try to change anything. Instead, he just goes to spend the last day with her. He brings his laptop and some ingredients from the store and cooks her dinner. They talk about their plans for the future and reminisce about their favorite memories. Elena is confused by Liam's behavior, but she doesn't question it. "You're being really weird," she says, smiling. "But it's nice." Later, they share a dance in the kitchen as the sun sets. "Thank you for today," Elena says, resting her head against his chest. "I'm glad I got to see you again." Suddenly, Elena feels a strange sensation. "Wait a minute," she says. "You're really here this time." She pulls back and studies Liam's face. Is this real? Liam's heart breaks. He can't bear to tell her the truth. He doesn't want to ruin this precious moment. So he simply nods his head. And as the night wears on, they hold each other close and cherish the time they have left. Final scene. Morning arrives. Elena leaves for work. She waves goodbye to Liam and he watches her go. As the crash still happens, but now he's back in the present day. Everything is just as it was before. The time machine lies deactivated on the floor. Liam takes a deep breath and walks over to it. He begins to take it apart, piece by piece, coil by coil, until only a pile of junk remains. Slowly, he begins to move forward. He steps outside and watches the sunrise. It's a beautiful, cloudless morning. Taking it all in, Liam whispers, "Thank you for yesterday." And that's the end of the video. If you liked this story, don't forget to subscribe for more sci-fi adventures. Until next time.